I can't help that stuff, Steve.
What can you help?
Very little.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy being me, Steve.
It's not easy being, green, right?
Well, green, me. You know, it's all the
It's
same.
good. That was a good little thing that Kermit did there. I always like that. Not easy being green song. Wasn't it a song? Yeah, it was a song. Yeah, my
Right,
favorite actually. I'm a big Kermit fan, whether you know it or not.
I didn't know that, Steve.
Kermit the Frog. Good stuff.
Kermit the Frog here.
See? It's almost like he was really here.
Almost, Steve.
Maybe we should get Kermit on as a guest someday.
Think that would be a good idea?
I mean, we talk about Fortean topics. He's a talking frog. I think it would fit in.
It might fit in.
I think it would. How do you talk? I mean, that's a whole show.
There is the Loveland Frogman, Steve.
I think it's probably Kermit's other gig.
Have you ever heard of the Loveland Frogman?
I have heard of it because of doing this show.
Yes. People assume it was a type of alien being.
Well, since there are no real frog men.
They had wands, Steve.
Juan?
They had wands, not Juan, not like a Mexican guy. They didn't carry around a Mexican guy and wave him in the air and be like, you know, that shit didn't happen. I just made hand motion for a fucking radio show, by the way. I want to note that for the record. This jackass just fucking made a motion with his hands.
Like as if you were carrying
audio only. Yeah, like I was carrying Juan and fucking waving him around.
I think it would have probably been more believable had it been a Mexican named Juan instead of a wand. I mean, what kind of that's a joke. Frogs carrying wands.
No, hey, I'm just telling you how the story went, Steve. It's just
that wasn't offensive or anything, was it?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, I wasn't trying to be offensive. I have some, Mexican American friends and some Mexican friends.
I'm pretty sure it's okay, Steve. Right. You want to start the show?
Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is the Fortean Slip, episode 13, the Rise of the Apeman episode. Ooh. Welcome. Well, you wanted to do the Human Z, Steve.
Yeah, I did.
So
I don't know why, but I did.
I'm only giving you what you wanted.
All right, I'm well prepared.
But I mean, going back to the joke about them waving around a wand.
Yeah.
How is that really offensive?
I don't think so. I mean, I wasn't trying to be offensive when I thought you said wand, and then it went into this whole thing, and it wasn't meant to be offensive.
Well, I don't think it's offensive.
Okay. I apologize to any of our Mexican listeners if I have offended you.
I'm pretty sure it's okay, Steve. I mean, I watched a Chris Rock special on Netflix last night in which he said that, as many white kids should get shot as black kids. So
that would be semi-offensive anyway. I mean, if you're a white kid.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's like totally wrong. I'm just saying that us referring to a wand as wand because you heard it misspoke.
We called him a magic wand, so that's
a magic Mexican.
Yeah, magic wand.
Did they have their own shamans?
I think so, actually.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it.
I'd love to have a friggin' Mexican shaman on the show. Get your spirituality.
I think it's very deeply rooted in their culture, in fact.
What about like Carlos? Yeah, like Carlos Castaneda, right?
Okay.
You never heard of that dude?
I've heard of guys named Carlos before.
Wow.
Castro what?
Forget it, Steve.
Castrinating?
No, Steve.
I'm getting more and more offensive without
Steve,
even trying.
You're offensive on every level.
I don't try to be. Try to be nice to everybody, and
You depict everything that is evil about the white man, Steve.
no, I'm everything that's good and kind and wholesome.
Your cowboy head is a step away from a fucking white sheet.
No, come on.
I'm just
That
saying,
isn't even.
Steve.
That's not true. Just because I choose to wear a white cowboy hat on occasion, which I don't even wear anymore, doesn't mean that I'm like some southern bigot or something.
You're like Boss Hog minus the fucking weight.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Come on, Steve.
Boss Hog was, he was just misguided.
Think so?
Mm-hmm. I think he
Mm.
meant for the.
He was always after them Duke boys, Steve.
Them Dukes, them Dukes, them Dukes.
That's right.
I can't do a good Roscoe, but Roscoe was like pretty cool. I mean, he's just following orders and all.
Yeah. That's how you look.
But
That's how you
Enos,
look at things, Steve. I understand.
Enos, he was a cool guy.
Roscoe, the Nazi regime.
No,
I
not
know.
what this. The
It's
Dukes of
okay.
Hazzard.
All right. I think
Come
the
on,
Dukes of
man.
Hazzard for you is a microcosm for, everything else.
I don't even know where to go with that because the Dukes of Hazzard was
Are
my
you gonna
favorite
come out?
show
Are you
growing
gonna
up.
come out on this show as a white nationalist?
I'm
I think you should.
white, but I'm not a nationalist, whatever that is.
Tell us you believe in white power.
I don't believe in white power or black power or green power. Well, maybe green power.
You believe in green paint, I can tell you that.
Green has been scientifically proven to make you more cheerful and happy.
You're a sick motherfucker, Steve.
There's
That's
nothing
all
wrong
I gotta
with it.
say. I'm just telling you how I see it.
You're ruining my reputation here. I'm supposed to be this upstanding citizen, and you're making up all this shit.
You're not an upstanding citizen. You admitted to owning a fucking video that you should never have admitting to owning on the
We're
fucking
not supposed to ever
program.
bring that was supposed to be edited out of the show.
Yeah, was it? Did you forget which fucking show you were on?
I have since destroyed that video, and
I fucking told you to take some lighter fluid in the video and take it out in your front yard right after the show.
For purposes of being on air. Oh yeah, I forgot it was a live show. I guess anything I say can and will be used against me, right?
There you go, Steve. This is what you get, buddy.
For purposes of this show, yes, I did destroy that video and any other videos that would be anything near that genre.
Didn't want a chance trying to make some cash, huh, Steve?
Oh no, I still want to make cash off of it.
After you burned it?
Yeah, sure. I said for purposes of this show and for everybody listening, I've destroyed that video.
Oh. I see.
Something nobody should ever own unless they got the right amount of money.
How about those ape men, Steve?
Humansies, you mean?
Yeah, those.
I'm just trying to figure out how, because scientifically, you can't mate with a chimpanzee and make a humansie, can you? I mean, scientifically?
I mean, from what I understand, you can't. But according to some of these people that are out there making these wild claims, you can.
Well, who are these people? Are they scientists or just like bloggers?
You read the story, motherfucker.
I did. Oh yeah, that one guy who's a scientist said it's possible. Sure, one guy.
Who was the other guy who was the Russian dude there that did the experiments, and they thought that that there was a person who had like ape-like features, I
Oh,
guess.
yeah. There was.
Remember they claimed that she wasn't it a she?
I don't recall, but I'll try to look it up here real quick. I know there were Russian experiments, and they claimed to have made or crossed a human and a chimp, I think, which would have been a
Yeah.
Manzi. And it was back during around the time of World War II, I believe.
Well, so wasn't Stalin trying to create an ape-man army, or he was very interested in creating an ape-man army?
Something of that nature. But the some people said it was actually successful. Holy cow.
Wow.
Richard just put a whole bunch of stuff in the chat that I'm never going to read. I mean, he should have broke that up into smaller chunks. I'm just saying.
Hey, he's trying, Steve. He's really trying.
If
I
chimps,
mean, we are, we are chimpanzees are our closest relatives.
that is true.
I mean,
But
speaking in terms of DNA, they're 95% related to us.
yeah,
But
so are
it's that
frogs. I mean,
it's that 5%.
even 1% difference is a big difference when it comes to DNA.
So
So scientifically, now I'm assuming that when we split off from the apes many years ago, there were obviously closer matches, but nowadays, that's why we became two different species. There is no human-Z. Although it'd be pretty cool. I'd like to be able to swing from trees and shit.
Fucking Planet of the Apes, Steve. But technically, though, Steve, we are apes.
Well, we are, but we're just a different version of apes. You don't see gorillas and chimpanzees mating because it's not possible. But they're both apes. Orangutans and spider monkeys don't mate because it's impossible. It just doesn't happen. And just because we look like them doesn't mean it's something that will happen or could happen. I mean, we look like them except without hair and smaller, brow ridges and shit.
Uh-huh. Well, it was Ivanov. I think it's
Ivanov.
Ilya Ivanovich. Ivanov was the first person to attempt to create a human-chimp hybrid by artificial insemination. They didn't just let the dude fuck the chimpanzee. That would be wrong, Steve.
Well, I think
then they'd have a video much like yours.
I think the carrier would have been the female.
Yeah, they used the
they
female
inseminated
chimpanzee.
It. Yeah. Was male, human male sperm.
But according to that whole
it was the other way around.
It never happened.
So could it go one way but not the other? Let's say you were walking out in the jungle one day and you're a woman. You're not, and you're not in a jungle, but just assume you were for a moment. And this chimpanzee came up running behind you and attacked you and raped you and shit. Would it be possible for a human woman to carry a chimp baby? Or let's say some guy's running in the woods one day and he finds this female chimp and rapes her. Does it work both ways? I mean, can one do it and not the other? Like what is it, mules or not mules, donkeys or something? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Horses and donkeys can.
Oh mate, yeah.
But the offspring is fertile or not fertile.
Is infertile.
Yeah, infertile. Does it work that way? Is it possible?
I don't know.
Can a donkey impregnate a horse? I know a horse can impregnate a donkey. What are they called?
I don't know how that works. I know that happens.
Would they be called honkies?
You need to fucking sit in that piece of shit.
I thought it was genius.
Really? Seriously?
Yes. I thought that was probably one of the best jokes that I've come up with.
You know how to suck the funny right out of this show.
Well, Dorse didn't sound right. I mean, you take human and chimpanzee and put them together, it sounds good. Humanzee.
Shut the fuck up.
But chimpuman doesn't sound right.
Stick to what you know.
So I thought if you took a horse and a donkey, it would be a honky. I know. I don't know anything. What do you mean stick to what I know?
Richard, is that for real?
Oh, it's called a hiney. A donkey and a horse, hiney.
Steve. Oh my God, that is for real. Fuck me. I would never have imagined that would be called that if a donkey impregnates a horse, it's called a hinny, not a hiney.
Oh, Hinny. I would say hiney.
I would say
I think it's all depending on where you come from and your background. So in nature, it is possible for members of the same genus or species. Well, they're not the same species.
Okay.
Right. So it is possible.
Well, you got the lion and tiger hybrid, the liger.
Oh my. We shouldn't do early shows. I'm like awake and shit.
Oh. We were totally wrong, Steve. We have to retract our statement. A mule is when a donkey impregnates a horse, and a hinny is when a horse impregnates a donkey.
But in both instances, whether it's a mule or a hinny, as you say.
And a liger is when I don't know which fucks which.
But so how close are horses and donkeys or, to create a mule? Are they closer than a human and a chimpanzee as far as biological makeup and DNA and shit?
I don't know, but either way, you're the jackass.
I sure am.
That's all I know.
But a mule, now mules can't have mule babies, right? And heinies or hinnies cannot have hinny babies because they're usually infertile. They're sterile.
Whoa. Richard, come on here for a minute. If you would be so kind. So there's a different name if the tiger fucks the lion or if the lion fucks the tiger?
Yeah. It's a tie-on if a tiger fucks a lion and a liger if a lion fucks a tiger.
Huh.
That's interesting. The lead name is the one that sticks its penis in.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sexist.
So in the instance of a humanzee, it would be a human male and a female chimp.
I guess so.
So what would it be the other way around?
It'd be chimp man.
Chimp man?
Chimp man.
No, that's just chimpanzee.
Why do you have to put the manzy on it?
I don't know. I like the way it sounds better than chimp man.
I don't know what to tell you, Steve.
I don't know. I don't think it's possible
that a human chimp hybrid.
If it was possible, don't you think we'd see a few of them running around by now? I mean, after all, science has been working on it.
I seriously, I don't know. I don't know with the way they can fuck with genetics nowadays. If it's something that they could work towards, I don't know.
I don't think it's ever happened. And if it was, Richard posted in the chat here, ligers have a lot of health problems, and tyons obviously would have a lot of health problems, and that's because it's fucked up because they're not 100% compatible.
Well, they're not designed to be out there. They weren't meant to exist.
So if a humanzee actually existed, I don't think it would be viable. And it would have a lot of health problems.
You don't think that it would be Planet of the Apes immediately?
No.
No ape soldiers?
Well, I'm not saying that another species of ape couldn't eventually evolve to be more human-like, but I don't think that we're going to have a human chimp army based on the fact that some guy decided to fuck a chimp. Because first of all, the offspring would be sterile and wouldn't be able to breed even together. So it would end after one. You know what I mean? You'd have to have a lot of guys out there fucking chimps. You'd have to have this big old government program, the chimp fucking program.
That's a bold statement, Steve.
Well,
Where
it's
you
just a-
when are you going to sign up for the
I'm
chimp,
not going to sign
chimp
up.
fucking program?
I have no
Steve
desire.
Alcorn for chimp fucking. Steve, I think you should get behind this. I think this would be a cause
I
just
think
made for you.
I think out of the two of us, you'd sign up well before I would. I'm not into it. Yeah, because I mean,
You
it just
think?
seems.
Wait. You are making the assumption that I would fuck a chimp?
Yes, if she was
Wow.
good looking enough. I mean, you wouldn't want to just fuck any chimp. Have to be a pretty sexy chimp, but
Steve, I don't even know what to say to that.
well, I wouldn't fuck any chimp because I don't find them attractive. But I'm just saying,
I can't imagine any chimpanzee that I would even be remotely interested in fucking. Period.
What if that chimp looked like Betty White? Because you've already made the statement that you'd fuck Betty White.
None of them would look like Betty White.
Sure.
What?
Sure, I'm sure they could dress one up to look like Betty White somewhat.
No.
Put some white hair on it.
No.
No, I'm just trying. I'm trying to get you on board with
chimp fucking. It's not going to happen.
Well, then it's not going to happen with me either.
I was just
Why would I want to
do
do that?
I was just asking questions. You know,
if a man,
you were making an assumption that friggin' Richard and I both.
I didn't say Richard
would fuck a chimp. You said you two.
Oh,
the two of you, meaning not you, me and Richard. So
okay,
Richard, he threw you in on this one too.
Yeah, I've dated worse.
So Richard, see, is on board with chimp fucking. He just said it.
Fucking Christ.
I am not. What would happen? Would it be considered okay if a married man or a married woman fucked a chimp? Would that be considered cheating?
I don't know, Steve. I think that would depend on the relationship with said chimp.
So let's say there was no chimp involved. It only matters what the relationship is,
and
if it's cheating or not.
Steve, you're talking to a guy who's completely fucking jaded.
Well, yeah, I know.
So he really doesn't give a shit.
All right, well, I think it's cheating.
I mean, I really could give a fuck.
Well, I'm trying to, get the logistics in case this program ever does take off, who should be involved in it and who should not. I mean, ethically.
Based on how much they love the chimp.
Well, wouldn't you, isn't that the right way to go about it? I mean, you don't just fuck any chimp off the street. You want to be
they ruined that fucking
relationship.
They ruined that woman that jerked the dolphin off, for Christ's sake. And she was just trying to do some fucking scientific research.
So you're saying anybody who would volunteer for this research is going to be, their name is going to be mud. They're going to be thrown to the wolves, so to speak.
Well, it's fucking bestiality, Steve. I mean, let's face facts.
Well, how? We're both apes. I mean, I'm not condoning this behavior.
I'm just telling you that it's fucking bestiality. It would be a fucking wrong thing.
Well, I agree.
And I'm just saying, like, there was a scientific study where they were working with dolphins.
Yes, I know. I remember this.
And they were working on, interspecies communication. And These were pretty intense scientific studies, and they were dealing with dolphins, and the fucking young male dolphins, they want to fucking come.
So wait,
So the fucking thing would rub itself all over the bitch, and she wound up having to fucking jerk it off. The poor fucking woman just fucking wanted to do the research, so she jerked the fucking dolphin off so he'd be compliant.
I think she got off on it. I'm just saying. How do you put that into a study about communication? It's communication,
what do you mean?
sexuality.
No, the problem was they couldn't get the dolphin to focus.
So you get a different dolphin.
No, dude, dolphins like to fuck.
Well, yeah. So doesn't every other animal on the planet.
No. See, dolphins and humans are the only two species on the planet that fuck for pleasure. And dolphins like to fuck, Steve.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with dolphins doing that. Dolphin human fucking is a whole different story. But what would that one be called?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Richard corrected me. You are correct, Richard. Bonobos also fuck for pleasure, and they can't have them. They can't have them at zoos because they'll fucking do insanely crazy sexual acts right in front of the people.
Well, yeah, they have no.
They'll
morals.
fucking blow,
I mean, there's no
blow
such
each
thing as
other and
morals.
fuck, and they just don't care.
There's no such thing as morals in the animal kingdom. That's a human invention. So bonobos don't care who's watching them.
Bonobos just don't give a shit, dude.
Apparently, dolphins don't care either.
No. Well, they're animals. To them, it's just fucking natural.
Humanity
We're the ones that make it fucking bad.
So would a humanity be more human or more chimp? That's would they be able to talk or?
It would be 50-50, Steve.
Yeah, but what would be the breakdown? What part of them would remain chimp and what part of them would remain human?
I don't know.
Would they be like this? I mean, I know Hitler, I think, was looking into it, or Stalin, or somebody back in those days, to make a super soldier out of things like, doing things like that. But would they be a super soldier, or would they just be, like mentally incapable of doing much because they're?
I'm pretty sure it was Stalin, because it was Ivanov that was doing the experiments.
I wouldn't put it past Hitler trying. I mean, he did try to make super soldiers and things like that, and so I mean, even in the States, they tried to do things like that with LSD and whatnot.
Oh, Steve, he liked lily white people.
Well, yeah, he would. Yeah, Hitler wouldn't have.
He didn't want no chimpanzee blood in there. He was creating the master race, Steve. Come on now.
You're right. There is no master race with chimpanzee blood in it. You're right. Apparently, according to Hitler. Because master race has to be pure.
That's right. Hitler was a purist, Steve. Come on,
so it must have been Stalin then.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Well, yeah, I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I just I want to know if a chimpanzee or a humanzee, excuse me, would be able to, communicate the same way we do, or would it be like, that kind of thing?
I think it would probably be more likely that they would wind up communicating by sign language.
So much like chimps do now when you teach them sign language.
Some of them.
Maybe more advanced, though.
And only to a certain degree.
Right. But maybe a humanzee would be able to do it a little more advanced.
But would they have vocal cords like we do? I don't know.
Yeah, it would be interesting to understand which way that would go if it were possible, which it's not, I don't believe.
Yeah, I don't think you can cross.
Theoretically, I think they said theoretically. I've read before, theoretically, it is possible, but it just doesn't work when it's tried for some reason, and they don't know the reason. But theoretically, it is possible.
You got me.
Yeah, I don't know why a lot of, Christians or some, religious folks would say, well, God has put this thing in there and that's why it's not possible. But there is some sort of block that doesn't allow this to happen. but it is theoretically possible.
You mean interspecies coupling in which offspring occurs?
As long as a human is involved, apparently. I think when you get to the level that we are, it depends on how you look at humankind, but as advanced genetically and stuff as we are, there's a lot more factors involved than just putting a horse and a donkey together. You know?
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, we are the most advanced species on the planet.
Says
are we
who?
not? Says us. Well, then
I mean,
pigs, but
we have technology. Does that mean
Right.
we're the most advanced things on the planet? I mean, maybe dolphins are the most advanced thing on the planet, Steve. They have everything they need.
yeah,
They have families, they have language.
they have women that'll jack them off.
That's right. They got women that'll jack them off, scientists. Hey, come here, dolphin. Shucka, shucka, shucka.
I do agree that humans
know?
probably, in their genetic makeup, I mean, I think all animals are really close. 95% sounds like a lot, but it's not really any much different than a frog and a human. I mean, the DNA makeup is similar in all animals, but it's those very small percentages that make the difference whether you can mate with a frog or a donkey or a horse or whatever, or a chimp. It's those really tiny little differences. It can be less than 1%, and you still wouldn't be able to mate because of that, whatever that is, whatever that 1% is. But yeah, I agree with Richard that we're not really different than any other animal species. We just happen to learn how to do things that they didn't. That's all.
We just have technology.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the only thing that makes us different. You watch time-lapse fucking photography of any city, town, whatever it may be, it looks like a fucking anthill.
Uh-oh, they're coming to take me away.
I wish the fuck they would.
Did you hear it? They're coming.
Yeah, no, I wish they would. I wished I'd heard that vehicle slow down, pull into your dooryard, and heard a loud knock at your door.
Why would you wish that? Then there would be no Fortean Slip. Well, that might be a good thing too.
Who says there'd be no Fortean Slip, Steve?
Well, you can't. I'm irreplaceable. That's why.
Says you.
Yeah, it says me. Steve's the talent. That's right, Richard. You tell him.
Keep thinking that.
I'm just saying. Richard said when he was on the show and I wasn't, it was the worst show ever. That's what Richard told me.
That's on Richard.
Yeah, just the worst show. It just doesn't work. Go ahead, replace me. But maybe I'm sure there's a long list of people who would love to be in my spot and get ridiculed every week.
Do you want to be replaced, Steve?
No.
All right.
I enjoy doing this
Shut
show.
the fuck up, then. Oh, Ryan Redding wants to replace you.
I'm sure that you can find many things about Ryan Redding that you can rip on.
I think we should do the Ryan Redding is Steve Alcorn episode.
I'm sure that maybe Ryan would be one of the very few out there that you could find enough things to ridicule him about. And I'm sure it would be a great show.
Might be.
Did you like how I was sounding all scientific there? We're talking about DNA and shit, because I have no clue what I'm saying.
Well, Steve, that's the amazing thing is you can say a few fantastical things and sound like you know what the fuck you're talking about.
I know literally nothing. I mean, very little.
Steve, all it takes is someone to listen to you reading the news to know that.
Yeah, but most people don't listen. They I don't know why, but I do have a following, and it's a pretty unique following, in fact. People from all over the world follow me. Huh. Alcornians. I like that.
I wish your following would end like Waco.
Well, someday, if I had like a fortress or a place of a fortress of solitude, I'll call it, and I could bring people in from all over the world, I'm sure that in the end it would end somewhat similar to Waco.
Uh-huh.
Except I'd get out because I don't want to die and shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. You're smarter. You're smarter than that, right, Steve?
Well, I would not want to die, so I'd kind of leave it up to them to, drink the Kool-Aid and shit.
Who the fuck wants to? Nobody drank Kool-Aid at Waco.
Well, the Jim Jones thing is what I was referring to there. Similar event.
Jim Jones thing's a little, well, but the Jim Jones thing, they weren't stormed by the U.S. government.
Well, they could have been. There was
government
Steve,
See,
involvement.
Steve,
In
I'm
Jim Jones
more
thing.
hoping that the government storms your compound and burns you to the ground. Not that you drink a little bit of cyanide and die.
But as a government disinformation agent that I've been accused of being before, I would know ahead of time and I would get out of there.
Uh-huh. I say.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
You are fake news. I do believe you're fake news.
All right. Well, that kind of plays into that now, doesn't it?
No, it kind of plays into the idea, if you're fake news, that you would become a cult leader.
I don't think I would be a cult leader. I'm just saying all my followers, people who like me, would come and live in this compound together, and I'd be like happy all the time.
The cult of the human-ape.
Well, Richard called them Alcornians.
So, come suck on daddy chimp dick.
No, there wouldn't be any of that going on.
Oh,
there wouldn't be any
Steve.
humansies in the compound.
The minute you got a little bit of power, here, come toot on fucking Grandpa Alcorn's pee-pee.
No, that's not how that would go.
No?
There wouldn't be any of that.
Oh.
I mean, they can do it amongst themselves. It would be like being a hippie in the 60s, except I wouldn't be involved in any of it because that's against my beliefs.
Because that all worked out so well.
Yeah, it did. And then they would all like grow up and become politicians and stuff.
Uh-huh. I see.
A lot of hippies became, politicians.
Yeah, a lot of different types of people became politicians, Steve.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way it works.
I started watching a new television show.
Oh, dear Jesus.
Oh, no, this is a good one. You might like it. Yeah, and you've probably already seen it. You ever see Timeless?
Timeless?
Yeah, it's about time travel. It's a pretty good show.
No.
Anyway, we'll have to get you started on that one.
Oh,
it's a newer show. It's not like the 70s stuff that I normally watch.
The time travel show that I'm currently watching is Travelers.
What's that on?
Netflix.
I think Timeless is on NBC. But the replays are on either Hulu or Netflix. So like a season behind, obviously.
Maybe I'll look into it, Steve. Maybe I won't.
It's a different kind of premise.
Steve, I have a lot on my plate.
Well, yeah.
It's not easy being me, Steve.
Isn't that where we started this show?
That's how I keep trying to tell you this. Everything's circular, Steve. It all comes back around. Everything that has happened before will happen again, Steve.
Everything?
Everything.
Well, I ain't gonna remarry my ex-wife or anything.
We can only hope, and that this time it ends in fucking death.
No, that'll never happen. So not everything that goes around comes around.
Actually, Steve, I would no. I wouldn't hope for your death on that. I would hope that you murder your ex-wife and you suffer in jail.
And then I'd still have a following, and people would treat me like Charlie Manson or something.
I was just gonna fucking say that you'd become Charles Manson.
There will be no beard or swastika. Well, there would be a beard, but no swastikas.
Oh shit!
And I won't spew hate, but
we could have our beard. We could have a beard contest again, Steve.
I was going through and looking at the photos of me that
During
I
the beard
posted.
contest.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Can't believe
I've
I
got
had a
mine
beard like that.
I've got mine somewhere. I think Richard was trying to get us to give a shout out to Swamp Girl. She's in the chat tonight.
Yeah. Well, he gave that shout out like 10 minutes ago. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Hi, Swamp
Hi.
Girl.
Hi. Are we good now?
Is there
Steve?
more than one Swamp Girl? Because it says Swamp Girls.
Could be. Either that or Richard just doesn't know how to use an apostrophe.
Yeah.
Or to say Swamp Girl is in the chat. I don't
He's
know.
lazy.
Steve.
He's a lazy producer.
We never said that he was Johnny on the spot, Steve. What are you, fucking
not.
E.E. Cummings?
I thought,
Motherfucker?
you know, he's just making up words now in the chat. You see that?
Oh,
Putting
no.
apostrophes and everything.
He's a child.
You know, I thought because we started the show early and it was way prior to Richard's bedtime that he'd be more on top of shit.
I'm doing this for that motherfucker so that he has an easier time of being on the show.
Maybe it just take a few weeks for him
Not to
get
mention the fact that it kind of helps me out because then I'm not doing the show so late and having to scramble to do everything after the show before I go to bed. Really?
Mm-hmm. You just said scramble, and I thought maybe.
What is this, fucking Frasier?
No, I mean I realized that was part of the song and stuff, but you said scrambled, and I'm thinking it's almost supper time. So for some reason, eggs popped into my head. That's how my brain works.
What the fuck is he Richard, what the fuck are you talking about? Just fucking come on the air and say what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, you were all, oh, Richard, I want to help you out, but really it's just to help you out.
Oh, yeah. Because, you know, hey, I haven't tried to make it earlier or a different night so that it's easier for you.
No.
You know, I'm still doing it at night. No. You know, no. Because, you know, I could do it later in the day today and it would still be easier for me. But I asked Steve if he could go earlier because, you know, you are so many hours ahead of us.
5 hours now. Did your clocks go forward? Because it's usually 6 hours.
Not that I'm aware of. My clock went back in the fall.
Yeah. Spring is forward, fall is back.
And we haven't hit spring yet.
Back clock's might have gone forward.
So it's
you guys got to change clocks over there?
Yeah, we throw our old ones out and get new ones.
So you don't have like a daylight savings time deal like we do, which is insanely crazy, but
yeah, it's because of bloody farmers. And, you know, farmers don't run the world anymore. So why do we still have daylight savings time?
I don't know.
So you can relive the same hour more than one time if you like live on the border of a state.
It's like a really shit version of Groundhog Day, yeah.
But what do you think about the human-Z, Richard?
What do I think? I think that such a creature would have a very horrible life and it shouldn't really even be attempted.
Okay.
Very
Not to mention that, like, most chimpanzees are HIV positive, so the child would be, and since chimps are immune but humans aren't, would it like die of AIDS?
So these questions and more will be answered on the next soap.
I think when they were first doing the human-Z project back in the early 1900s, they didn't know anything about the diseases that could potentially, obviously they didn't know because AIDS didn't come out until the 80s or so, 70s, 80s, late 70s, early 80s. So they wouldn't have probably considered that. Now they would, maybe. But I think there's some scientists out there who would take the chance just because they could.
It's scary, you know. That there are scientists that would do shit like that just because they can do shit like that. They're not the kind of people you want to be scientists.
We built H-bombs and shit. You know, there's a scientist behind that shit.
I think that too, with genetic manipulation and the things that they're doing with like this CRISPR thing and all, you know, the genetic technology is starting to change, and they're going to be doing some pretty wacky shit. The minute they start being able to create life with a 3D printer, you know, the building blocks for life, fucking, it's going to be a game over situation. Because they're going to start creating some really weird shit. Yeah, it could very well be. You never know.
Giant Pac-Man.
Probably sterilize everybody at birth so that they can't have children, and then just print everybody out.
Yeah,
we'd never die.
Print out the
you could print out a younger version of yourself.
Ooh. Could you transfer all your thoughts and shit? Because that would be cool.
It's a printer. You just upload all your memory.
It'd be just like that fucking show Altered Carbon on Netflix.
Haven't seen it, but
they just transfer consciousness from one fucking body to another.
But would you want that? I wouldn't.
No, and that's the thing, you know. I mean, they're on about, you know, cloning humans, which is another stupid thing. And, you know, the weapons we've got these days. It's just, you know, they should slow down a little and think about before they do something. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, if there was a button in the world...
Yeah, before you go on, I want to back you up a little bit. Didn't I recommend Altered Carbon to you?
You did.
Okay. Do you watching it? Do you feel like it has a Blade Runner feel to it?
Yeah, definitely the original is that kind of dystopian future. Cyberpunk is the best word I'd use to describe it.
Yeah, I'd go there.
It's awesome. I like it.
Wasn't there something else I recommended to you?
Yeah, the movie Shape on the Water.
Oh, the Shape of Water. Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
The Shape of Water. Yeah.
Tells you that.
And we had it was a good film, but
recommendation didn't go anywhere.
Steve, you didn't watch The Shape of Water with your wife?
I have not.
And you're missing out.
It's a good film.
I will preview it. I will preview it myself before I attempt to watch it with my wife. But
why? It's not
because usually the recommendations that you give me are not family friendly.
No, Richard, would you say that this is a family friendly movie? For Steve,
I'm going to take the advice of you two.
Wife.
Ish.
I'm just saying for Steve. Ish.
You
think so?
Yeah. Well, you know, frog sex definitely pushes it into PG-13.
Well,
there is frog sex in it, yeah.
Fine. Even R is fine. I'm just saying some of the recommendations
Spoiler alert
are not things that my wife would like to watch.
Oh, okay, Steve. Well,
if you don't watch the beginning of that movie and know that frog sex is coming, then just fucking kill yourself because you are stupid.
There's nothing wrong with frog sex. I mean, frogs have to have sex. I mean, I get it, but I don't understand why they made a movie about it.
What would you call that? Hybrid?
It's not frog sex, Steve. But anyway,
Frogman.
I don't know, Richard. I don't know what I'd call it.
Hummog.
All I know is it was a good movie.
Kermit.
It was a good movie.
See, everything that goes around comes around.
Very true, Steve.
Circle of life.
I wonder, is Kermit the result of a human and frog relationship?
I don't know.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
And he has a fascination with pigs, and I don't get it, but it is what it is. What would happen?
There's another hybrid.
Steve, if you don't get that, I mean, I don't know.
I don't get why Kermit, wants to get involved with Miss Piggy. She's
Why
not
Kermit
very
wanted to
attractive.
get involved with a pig? Read between the lines, Steve.
I don't read between the lines very well. I don't get these connotations that I'm supposed to get. That's not. I just don't see things.
Well, then I can't help you.
A peog. Okay. A prog?
Nah.
Enough. We're done with the hype.
Enough. Just enough.
Just stop. Just shut the fuck up.
Just saying. I don't know. Frog pig. I'm trying to put it together, but I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pig.
Well, wait, another name for pig is hog, and that just works by itself. So there you are.
Yeah. There you go.
Mystery solved.
Huh.
I'm glad you guys are on the case. Dear Jesus.
Human-og. If you had a human and a frog, that would be all right.
Yeah, we already did this.
Freeman.
Yeah.
I'm just going to come up with for different combinations.
Fruman. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Someone should do a parody of Half-Life with Gordon Fruman. You're welcome, any gamer listeners.
Hang yourself right now. Jesus Christ.
Well, for the joke or the drum roll?
Both. Dear fucking Christ. This show just it falls down a hole I can't even describe most of the time.
You wanted to do Humanzy.
You asked to do Humanzy like a few weeks ago when the story came up on the news. You were like, we should do a show on the Humanzy.
Well, we just did a show on the Humanzy.
Yeah.
I think it was epic.
Fucking fascinating. It was great. It was...
And we learned some things today, that Richard would in fact fuck a chimp.
Yes.
I didn't say that. I said I've dated once. And I have.
Okay, well, that kind of lends itself to, yes, I would.
It doesn't. It lends itself to.
Wait a minute. Wait. Are you saying that you dated women that don't walk on two legs?
I've dated women that a chimpanzee would be an upgrade to. Let's leave it at that.
Hey.
As I'm sure you have.
It leaves it open to the fact
whoa,
that
whoa. Huh?
What?
Excuse me?
You know what would be even more fascinating? If Richard started naming those women on the air, that would be great.
Oh, yeah. Come on, give us some names, Richard. Can we look them up on Facebook?
Richard went silent.
Yeah, that's right. Go back into your producer's box.
Richard went silent. You see, we don't have the opportunity to shut Richard up very often, but it worked.
Well, sometimes you have to, Steve.
Yeah, I agree.
You give him a little power and he just gets a little power hungry. It's the Brit in him. It fucking just comes out. It's that sense of entitlement, Steve.
Well, yeah, I think the Brits, and I think that's probably why they lost the war, was the sense of entitlement.
That's why, like, everywhere they stepped, they were like, "This is the land for the queen or the king or who fucking ever." They just fucking stepped on the land.
Yeah,
they
claimed
were like,
it.
Yeah. Okay. We expanded so quickly.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We had guns. And we went up against tribals in skirts and a pointed stick, all right? That's why we expanded so quickly.
Okay, yeah. Well, I get that. But, you came... You guys
so you're saying... Against... No, wait. So you're saying that by stepping on the land and then killing the people wasn't being entitled to land that wasn't theirs?
Well, that's what your ancestors did. Oh.
Well, we're talking about.
I'm not saying that they didn't.
Yeah, well, that's how it was done in those days. You went somewhere and you killed the people and nicked their land.
My ancestors were Scandinavian, so they just fucking raped and pillaged everything.
Oh,
they fucking took over.
No root.
Exactly. But I'm not fucking trying to say that they didn't.
Well, I'm the one who pointed out we just killed people and stole their land.
Well, we took it back, even though it wasn't ours to begin with.
Yes, you took back land that we'd stolen from someone else. Kudos.
Good that's the American way.
People.
That's the American way. See, we let you conquer the land, and then we live there, and then we take it back from you when it wasn't even ours in the first place.
Take something that doesn't belong to you in the first place. The American way.
But we waited for you to take it from the original owner.
Yeah, that was very generous of you.
That's how we're gonna make America great again.
Yeah, we're gonna let you do the work, and then we'll come in later and clean up the mess and reap the benefits.
Has anyone else noticed we're living in the 1980s on that subject?
We're living in the 1980s?
Yeah. There's a grey-haired woman in charge of England, an actor in the White House, and we're all afraid of nuclear death.
It's pretty much the same thing that happened.
I wouldn't go so far as to call him an actor.
Yeah, he's TV personality.
He's a celebrity TV personality. Ronald Reagan was actually an actor.
But it's like it's weird how similar we are to the 1980s. We're all afraid of Russia, and nuclear war. It's so weird.
I'm not afraid of Russia.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't want to cross Putin. Fuck, what is wrong?
I'd be far more afraid of China. Russia does not spend a fraction of what we spend on our military.
Yeah. That's true. But
the whole Russia thing is to me, is it not cool that Russians may have meddled with the American election? Absolutely, it's not cool. However, do I think Russia poses a clear and present danger to the United States of America? Not even in the least.
Not like they used to. At one time, I think they did, but not now. I don't think North Korea poses that much threat either. I mean, yeah, they might have some nuclear weapons, but they're such a small country that, we'd wipe them off the face of the earth pretty darn quick, I think.
I don't like the idea of that guy with nuclear weapons. I don't like the idea of Trump with nuclear weapons.
I don't like the idea either, but I'm just saying, if he knows damn well if he ever used one, that would be the last thing he did.
You're talking about Kim Jong-un?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it wouldn't just be the United States that go after him. It would be a coalition of...
Yeah, I don't think he's got the fucking sack to do anything besides run his mouth and do his little test flights and his little bullshit. That's all he's doing.
I don't think we'd care at that point. Not me personally, but the governments wouldn't care at that point how many civilian casualties there would be. I think it would they'd take the whole of North Korea and it would be gone.
There's much to it.
Nuclear war again. We're back to that.
So what do you think?
And then what would he rule over then? If he blew us up and then we went and blew him up, he'd be gone and that would be it.
Is it Red Dawn all over again, Richard?
Well, they might as well remake it. They're remaking everything else, but
they already did remake it with Chris Hemsworth. How did you miss that? Ultimate piece of trash.
Well,
I need to TiVo with that
ultimate piece of trash.
I like trashy movies.
Yeah, Yeah, your choice in movies is sometimes your logic eludes me.
It's because it's when a film takes itself seriously and tries to be gritty and realistic, it pisses me off. That's why I don't like a lot of the movie choices you recommend.
So you like accidental grit?
Oh, yeah, I like films that don't take themselves too seriously. I like B movies and stuff because it's all a fantasy. It's going to a film to get away from reality, not be immersed in it.
We're an hour into the show and I never read the news.
Doesn't matter.
No.
We can still read the news.
Shitty ass stories. Anyway.
I thought we were having a good conversation, but
I'm just
Steve's
saying.
unhappy.
There's supposed to be a format to the show.
Steve seems to think that the news is necessary.
It's not necessary.
All right then.
Yeah, but see, I didn't get Chris's cue.
Oh. What cue's that, Steve?
Steve, do you have any news? That one. You don't have to say it. I don't have to read news today.
I don't know. Steve, do you have any news?
I do. Now, Richard, is your turn.
There
you go. See,
No. I can't do that. No, we have to do it all over again. Steve.
Yeah.
We have to start all over again. Can we wipe this one from the record?
We'll edit it out and post-production.
Producer needs to be Johnny on the fucking spot.
Did things backwards today. Usually I read the news at the beginning of the show or near the beginning.
Steve, fuck the people. They'll get the news when they get the news.
Well, they don't even have to get the news. I'm not opposed to not reading the news.
I'm just saying if we're going to introduce the news, we're going to introduce it properly.
All right.
And Richard is going to come in and do the fucking bumper for the news when he's supposed to do the bumper for the news.
Okay.
I want it to be like a button.
All right.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Take two, Steve.
All right.
So, Steve,
mm-hmm.
do you have any news?
I do have news.
It's acceptable.
Very nice. Very nice. I thought it was great. From the Leicester. See, I did it on purpose, Richard.
You go to you cowboy hat wearing spam eating motherfucker. I knew it.
From the Leicester. I don't know how the word is Leicester. Mercury.com or .co.uk, excuse me. I don't want to get that wrong. This is about the UK's first haunted antiques paranormal research center. Hey, this kind of plays into both of my interests. Very nice. Anyway,
how long is it going to take you to start selling haunted items on eBay?
Being the fact that they could open up an item not as described case when it's not haunted, I probably will never sell haunted items on eBay. I'm just saying, because then it causes me anxiety because there's a return request and all that stuff, and I don't need that.
What about an alleged illegal porno video?
That it's probably closer to like a Amazon type thing, maybe an Etsy, because it might be homemade. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll put it on Etsy. A paranormal research center for investigating haunted antiques is set to open in Hinckley, Richard's hometown, next month, and it's also thought to be the only one of its kind in the UK. The Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Center is being opened by local paranormal investigator Neil Packer.
By Leland Gaunt.
Neil Packer.
The name of the store will be called Needful Things.
Wasn't Packer the name of the guy the family that went on the long road trip and then ended up cannibalizing each other?
I don't know.
I think so. He plans to conduct a number of different types of research via live feeds, as well as open it up to the general public on the weekends. Having been investigating for many years, I would. Having been investigating for many years, Neil began collecting objects, mainly from an antique centers.
Steve. Steve, how is that professional?
What?
Mid fucking story, you answer a fucking thing that Richard put in the chat.
Oh, it's true. I would.
Which nobody has any fucking reference to.
They don't need to.
Steve, you do realize that this is an audio medium.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you got the whole gist of that, how that works.
I do. I understand.
Okay.
It's an audio medium.
Mm.
That means we speak. Audio means vocal, basically, in this instance.
And people can't see the chat.
Sound only.
Yes.
People can't see our chat?
Right.
I get that.
Okay. All right.
Just check. But I would do that. Having been investigating for many years, Neil began collecting objects mainly from antique centers. And just over a year ago, he started researching the objects to see if they can be haunted. I think it's just like a ploy to get people to come to his museum. I think so. Having amassed a collection of
that.
You don't. You just say you do.
Huh.
I think. I mean, just like any other paranormal investigator, he says, yeah, this is haunted. And
Fair enough.
I mean, there's no proof, so you can say just about anything you want. Having amassed a collection of more than 50 objects, he's decided it's time to relocate the items from his home to a larger premises so he can expand the collection further and enable members of the public to be able to visit and, of course, pay to visit it and give him money for doing nothing. So,
does he have a monkey's paw, Steve?
No, but he's got one of those like what's the Charlie McCarthy dolls? Yeah, the dummy puppet guy.
Right.
Charlie McCarthy.
Hmm.
I opened that story twice. What happened to the other story?
I don't know, Steve.
Oh, I'm not going to read the other story. I mean, we've gone so long. I'll just read the most important story
of the day.
I think of the century.
Oh,
this is from the Independent. Now, it doesn't affect us here in the States, but it does definitely affect those of you who are listening in the UK, because this is where this happened. This is from the independent.co.uk. A KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, as it used to be known, is forced to close restaurants after running out of chicken.
Wow.
I think that's scary stuff there.
It's the end of the world as we know it, Steve.
Oh, KFC has some of the best chicken ever.
I'm pretty sure realities are crashing into one another as we speak.
How does a chicken restaurant
run out of chicken?
Maybe I should read the story and find out.
Sure. Let's do it, Steve.
This happened in Bristol, Berkshire, Cheshire. I think I said sure right. Devon, Newcastle, Suffolk, and Surrey, and they're all affected by this. KFC was forced into closing many of its restaurants in the UK after it ran out of chicken. Branches in all those places were all affected by the issue with the chain's new delivery partner. So it was the third party that fucked up. Signs were placed on the door of the KFC restaurants around the country saying the restaurants were closed due to a few hiccups with delivery today. They didn't even come clean. They didn't even say that they were out of chicken. It was in quotes, a few hiccups with delivery. They lied.
I don't know what to tell you, Steve.
Yeah. I mean, why don't you just say, hey, we're out of chicken. Go somewhere else.
Maybe they lost the Colonel's secret recipe.
Did the Colonel ever visit the UK? Where did they get this recipe? I think they took it.
He's a Colonel, Steve. He can go pretty much wherever he wants.
We shot the Colonel and took his recipe.
Do you know who's playing the Colonel now for real? Who the actor or actress behind the Colonel is?
Last I knew, it was Norm Macdonald.
No, it's no longer Norm Macdonald.
Okay.
You would be surprised to know that it is now, in fact, Reba McEntire.
Oh.
That is true. Awesome.
As it
I
should
cannot
be.
make that shit up. And
that is awesome.
KFC in many restaurants is going to start offering delivery, which would be awesome. So, I wonder if Reba McEntire will deliver. That would be cool.
Can I get me some popcorn chicken, Steve?
Well, if you call your local KFC and they are the ones that are delivering, yes, you may, in fact, get some popcorn chicken.
What about them little chicken sandwiches? Can I get me some of them?
Yes.
With the pickles?
Now, a lot of people were very, very upset with KFC. Hundreds
Steve,
of people.
what about mashed potatoes and gravy?
Mm-hmm. Hundreds
Coleslaw?
of coleslaw, yes.
Huh.
And even that little like tapioca pudding stuff
I don't want that. I don't want that shit, Steve.
I like that stuff.
No, I don't want that tapioca pudding shit. I just want the fucking mashed potatoes, gravy, and fucking goddamn coleslaw with some extra crispy fucking chicken, Steve. That's all I want.
Call KFC and see if they're delivering yet.
They're not, Steve.
Anyway, hundreds of people were so upset that they went on Twitter and posted messages of outrage after discovering that their Kentucky Fried Chicken had run out of, well, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Some of those who visited the affected stores drove to nearby KFC restaurants only to find the same sign had been placed there too. One customer described the situation, much like you did, as the end of the world. Summer Thomas said, "Oh, KFC, what the cluck do you think you're..." See, I like these jokes. "What the cluck do you think you're playing at closing near enough every branch in Bristol when you ran out of chicken? It's basically the end of the world." That's what she said.
It is the end of the world, Steve.
I think that the day that KFC really runs, I mean, if they did it worldwide, that would be the end. I don't think you could recover from that.
From running out of chicken?
From running out of chicken at KFC, a Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant. How do you recover from that? How do you explain that to your customers and the rest of the world?
You get some chicken?
Oh. Okay, well, then it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Oh.
But that is, in fact, the news today. I didn't read the other two stories because I'm too damn lazy.
Well, I want to thank you for your dedication, Steve. It seems like now that you are committed to doing, it seems that now that you're committed to doing, another show twice a week, that you're backing off on your duties here.
I have never had duties here, and I have no duties there.
I tend to disagree. Every time you're on this show, it's one big fucking duty.
Yeah, on the yeah, it's a big pile of duty. You're right. See, I almost let that one slip by.
No, I knew I almost threw it over your head.
Yeah, you almost did. But you guess what? I'm getting a little bit brighter in my old age. I caught that one.
Define brighter.
Well, I don't have an answer. My other show is called the Reseller Breakfast Club. It has nothing to do with this crap that we talk about on this show. And it airs at 8 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What do you talk? What do you talk about on that show, Steve?
What do you think I talk about? Reselling, maybe?
Oh,
eBay and Amazon.
Did you talk about Did you talk about your video on that show?
Which video?
The one that you talked about on this show.
I talked about a video. No, I have not, and I will not talk about it on that show. It's a family-friendly show.
Oh,
this one.
Oh. Can't.
Well, for the most part. I mean,
can't have any alleged porn stars fucking a dog on video on that show, huh, Steve?
I accidentally said fuck on that show the other day, but it's going to be a learning curve for me to be on a more family-friendly show.
Steve had potty mouth on the family-friendly show.
I did. And I didn't get kicked off, so it's cool.
You get in front of the microphone and you're like, oh yeah, it's just like any other day.
I have not mentioned this show on that show either, but I may eventually someday.
Thanks,
if
Steve.
I want to lose my spot on that show.
Thanks for fucking, throwing a bone to the old Fortean Slip.
Well, come on now.
If you guys are interested in uncensored fucking, Fortean talk, you can check out my other show.
Well, I have to get into it. It's going to take time before I'm comfortable enough, maybe a year or two. Before I'm comfortable enough to.
Yeah, I know how that is, Steve. You got to get comfortable.
Listen, you got entrepreneurs and business people
once you've been deep dicking that bitch for like a year, then you can be like, hey, how about we have a threesome with that chick down the road? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Steve.
Okay, well, you get it.
Yeah, no, I know how it works.
It's not something that you just jump into and say, "Hey, by the way,
well,
go
maybe
check out
sometimes
my other show."
No,
It
no,
could
sometimes
ruin
you
both
do,
shows.
Steve. Sometimes you do, and sometimes it's amazing. Just saying, Steve. Sometimes you just got to take that chance.
I'm not
Steve,
very much of a risk taker. Yes, sir.
Dean Cooper wants to know how many times you think your items have been resold on the average.
You mean after I've sold them?
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care what you do with my item after I sell it to you. You could stick it up your ass for all I care.
Could we isolate that and send that to his other show?
The opinions made by Steve Alcorn are not necessarily the ones of the board.
I don't care what you do with the items I sell you. You can stick them up your ass for all I care.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're your items now. If I sold you something and you bought it,
The Resellers Breakfast Club, starring Steve Alcorn. You can stuff it up your ass.
They would agree with me. They don't care. They don't care what you do with it. So I had a guy yesterday message me.
The Resellers Breakfast Club with Steve Alcorn. Go suck a bag of dicks.
Why would you do that to my new show?
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
And if you people come in the chat room for that show and cause a fuss.
You people.
I'm talking about you and Chris.
Right. No. I'm saying right now, if you are at all a fan of this show and you're listening,
do not ruin my chances of being on a highly renowned
Resellers Breakfast Club. Get in that chat room and just
ask questions about eBay,
unleash
or Amazon,
hell,
or Facebook Marketplace, or Let Go, or OfferUp, but not unleashing hell. You will get deleted.
I feel like fucking Russell Crowe in Gladiator. A father to a murdered son.
Wait a second. Our fans don't wake up
to a murdered wife.
Our fans don't wake up early enough to ruin my reputation.
You're forgetting that's my afternoon, Steve.
As soon as you walk in or mention one word in that chat room, Richard, I am a moderator and you'll be gone. I don't care if you just come in and say hi. I'm deleting your message. So there.
I've got to do it now. I've just got to. I've been challenged.
It's going to be a good one. Yeah. Anyhow.
So I'm going to have to figure out how now to send my letter of resignation from that show.
As you should.
God. Those guys, they are actually a pretty good bunch of guys.
Oh, that's fucking.
I'm sure you'll be fine, Steve.
They're a pretty good bunch of guys. A couple of them have been selling for well over 20 years on eBay and stuff. So full of knowledge, and if you want to come in and ruin it, I don't think our listeners are the type of listener. I like our listeners. I love our listeners, and I don't think they're the type that troll people, except for Richard.
I think they should.
That show, by the way, is on Mondays and Wednesdays.
It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's Tuesdays and Thursdays, people.
Mondays and Fridays.
Resellers Breakfast Club. Join me in the chat room.
Put a notification.
I can't even get people to. I can't even get people to come and watch my YouTube videos on my other channel, let alone come and troll my other show. If you people like me, like I know you do, because you are like the best people out there.
Steve, don't get upset.
That'd be nice.
Again, you people. You scum.
They're
you
my
trolls who watch this drivel.
They're my people. They are big fans of mine. That's why they come to this show. That's why they listen.
Your cult.
That's right. They're and so they would not do anything to harm me because they know that I'm the talent. And without me, there is no show. There you go. Thank you, people.
Yeah. On that note, this has been the Fortean Slip, episode 13, the Rise of the Apeman episode, or the Fall of Steve Alcorn. on the Resellers Breakfast Club.
Did I say it was the Resellers Breakfast Club? It's the
as always.
Club, I think.
Check out Matt Knapp. I don't know what he's doing, but you can check out his old shows. I'm sure at
he actually uploaded his show.
Did he?
Yeah.
YouTube.com/Bigfoot Crossroads. Check out Richard's comic strip, Bigfootin' with Keith and Colin, on Facebook. Like I said before, you can check out Steve on his new show, the Resellers Breakfast Club.
Nothing.
Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning at some point in time. I'm sure if you look for it on YouTube, you'll be able to find it. And I think all of you should go there and check it out and support Steve.
You should support me, but in a nice way.
In a Fortean Slip kind of way.
No.
As always, check out Dred Funn
at
dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. And hopefully we'll be back next week with another wonderful show for your listening pleasure.
I'm going to have to go into hiding. Better show up for that show.
I'm going to have to go into hiding. Thanks, guys.
See ya!